everyone, it's me, Teacher Tisha here. Welcome back to our biology lesson. For today, we are going to look at chapter Locomotion and Support. In this chapter, you need to know the mechanism of locomotion and support in humans, animals, and plants. But in this video, I will be covering for the locomotion and support system in animals only. Before we going deeper in this chapter, you need to know that locomotion refers to the ability of a whole organism to move from one place to another. And movement refers to a change in the position of any part of an organism's body, but it does not necessarily involve locomotion. Support is provided by a framework called a skeleton. The question here, why should animals have skeleton? The first reason why animals should have skeleton is because skeleton gives support to the animals internally and externally. Besides that, skeletons give the animal's body a frame or shape to allow movement. There are three different types of skeleton in animals that you need to know, which is exoskeleton, endoskeleton, and hydrostatic skeleton. Exo means outside. Thus, exoskeletons refers to the skeletons found at the outside of the body. For example, insect. While endo means inside. Thus, endoskeletons refers to the skeleton found within the body. All vertebrates such as mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, and amphibians have endoskeleton support system. For hydro refers to water and static means not moving. Thus, hydrostatic skeleton refers to the presence of water inside the body of the organism. All invertebrates have hydrostatic skeleton, for example, worms and caterpillars. Earthworm is an example for an animal with a hydrostatic skeleton, and the force of attraction in earthworm is applied to a fluid-filled cavity called the column. The column is surrounded by two antagonistic layers of muscle, which is the circular muscles and the longitudinal muscles. Circular muscles is the muscles that surrounds the chamber. When the circular muscles contract, the longitudinal muscles relax, and the earthworm will become thinner and longer. Longitudinal muscle is a muscle which extends from one end to the other. When longitudinal muscle contracts, the circular muscle relaxes, and the earthworm will become shorter and thicker. Not to forget that an earthworm has bristles called chytae, which grip parts of the body to the ground so that other parts can be pulled towards the static parts. Now let's take a look at the locomotion in earthworm. First, the longitudinal muscle in the posterior contract and become shortened while the circular muscles relax. The chytae anchor or grip the shortened segment in the posterior to the ground. Next, the circular muscle contract while the longitudinal muscle relax and the anterior segments extend forward. The chytae in the anterior segments anchor to the ground and the shortened segment in the posterior is pulled forward. And that is how an earthworm moves from one place to another. Now we are going to look at locomotion in fish. A fish is an example of an animal with endoskeleton. A fish has a little problem overcoming gravity because most of its body weight is supported by water. But it faces the problem of water resistance because water is more viscous and dense than air. Therefore, to reduce the water resistance problems while swimming, fish have a streamlined body shape. Besides, fish also have overlapping scales on their body and a slimy coating on their body to minimize the frictional drag. Other than that, there is a tendency for fish to become unstable in water when they're swimming, and this leading to yawing, pitching, and rolling. Pitching is a vertical plane movement, yawing is a sideways movement, and rolling is a transverse plane movement. These movements are overcome by the fins on the fish body. The fins give stability and control the direction during swimming. Firstly, let's look at the dorsal fin and anal fin here. Okay, dorsal fin and anal fin able to overcome yawing and rolling problems, while pectoral fin and pelvic fin able to overcome pitching problem, and lastly, tail fin helps propel the fish forward. Now we have identified the problems and ways to overcome the problem for locomotion in fish. Now it's time to look at the mechanism of locomotion in fish. Muscles involved in the locomotion of fish are known as myotomes. Myotomes are blocks of muscles that can be found on both sides of the backbones of fish. The myotomes muscle group always act in opposite to those on the other side. When the muscle contract on one side, muscles on the other side will relax. When the fish swims, they curve their body sideways. Muscles along the side of the body contract and the tail is pulled to the side, and the front part of the fish is pulled to the other side. Now let's take a look at the locomotion of grasshopper. Grasshopper is an example of an animal with exoskeleton because it is an insect. You need to know that locomotion of grasshopper including flying, walking using 3 legs to support its body off the ground, and jumping using hind legs. As you can see from the diagram here, the body of a grasshopper can be divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. Grasshopper also has a special feature where the hind legs are attached to the tip of the abdomen. Besides that, the long legs help to propel its body in the air while jumping. A grasshopper also has an antagonistic muscle. Muscles involved in the locomotion of grasshopper is extensor muscle and flexor muscle. Extensor muscle is a muscle that straightens the joint, while flexor muscle is a muscle that bends a joint. Let's take a look at jumping process for grasshopper. First, the flexor muscle contracts to form a Z shape. Then, the extensor muscles contract, extending the hind legs. This movement results in propelling the grasshopper forward and upward. And this is the end of the jumping process for grasshopper. Very easy, right, to remember? And to summarize things up, in this lesson, we have learned what is locomotion and support, and we have learned in detail about the locomotion and support in animal, which is earthworm, fish, and grasshopper. And that is all for our lesson this time. Thank you. Bye.